to 8 p.m. We've more than 30 of the leading universities and colleges in Ireland, all taking part in our event today. We also have several of the larger colleges from the UK taking part as well. And we have 2 full days of talks and seminars. So we're speaking to people about science, teaching, CAO, PLC courses, health and social science, how to get into the music sector, many other topics being discussed. And we also have professional career guidance advice for you as well. So we've had thousands of students in here today. We're expecting thousands more tomorrow, and the event is specifically aimed at giving you the information you need to make an informed choice about your future, and that is your future in college when you finish the Leaving Cert, but also your future that brings you into what will become your career. And our aim here is to give you the inspiration to be able to think in a proactive and informed way about those choices and give you as much information as we can about the options that are available to you. So our next talk, we're going to now introduce very shortly Orla Maguire from Cavan Institute. And there is a whole wealth of options available through PLC courses at the ETB level around the country. And we'd like to introduce Orla Maguire shortly. She's from Cavan Institute. So we're just waiting for Orla to log in there. So if our people could try to help Orla get in. But just if you do have any questions when you watch these seminars, you're able to ask the questions during the course of the seminar, and at the end we can ask those questions for you, ask those questions directly of the speakers. So if you do have any questions during these seminars, that is something that we will be able to help you with and ask those questions. So that is the benefit of this webinar here today. And you will be able to find out as much information as you want, and we will be able to ask those questions live to the people in question. So we're just watching Orla logging in here now, and we're hoping she'll be up and running shortly. So Orla, can you hear us? Okay, perhaps just getting ready there. But don't forget, if you do know anybody else who hasn't registered, it is hi there, Orla. Thank you very much. So if you do know anybody else who'd like to register for the event, by the way, it is free of charge, and you can log into us here at Career Path Expo. So good evening, Orla, and thank you for joining us here. You're in Cavan today.
Actually, Longford. I work in Cavan, but I live in Longford. So.
Okay, Longford, okay. And how was the weather in Longford today, Orla?
Very blustery and wet. But anyway, like not too bad. Yeah, I think it's all over. So there was talk of power cuts. So I'm hoping we don't get one of those and we don't lose our internet. But okay, so far so good.
So the PLC courses and all of the options are going to be of great interest to people who are watching these webinars today, because, you know, it is a whole different sector that's outside of the, the sectors that people normally look at universities and some of the larger types of institutions. But there is a wealth of options available to people in different subjects, different areas with PLC courses. So I suppose, can you tell us a little bit more about what your talk is going to be about this evening?
Yeah, so PLC, I've been working in PLC for about, about 6 years now. And I've also worked at third level, and I've worked with second level and long-term unemployed. My heart is with PLC because the experiences the students get from it and the advantages they get from progressing with their education is just second to none. They do much better in third level, having come from PLC courses, and that's what I'll be focusing on today, is those benefits of doing a PLC before moving on to third level. I think it's great that students want to go to third level, but it's really good to take a year prior to that to prepare yourself, and hopefully you have much more successful experience than at third level.
Okay, well, thank you, Orla. It sounds interesting. So if you want to kick it off there, thank you.
Okay, super. Thank you very much, Kevin. So good evening, everyone. It's lovely to be here with you all. And as I just explained, we're going to be talking about furthering your education using a PLC course. Now, PLCs are great if you want to move into employment as well, but the focus of the seed and talk is going to be about using it to further your education opportunities. So I'm going to start by just giving you a couple of facts, interesting facts maybe about it that you may or may not know prior to tonight's talk. All of the courses you will apply directly to the college, so you don't need to worry about CEO or any of that kind of crack at the minute. You're just going to be applying it directly to the college, so you will look at the individual college's websites and apply via that. All PLC courses have recognised qualifications. So all of them will be QQI qualifications, and some of them will offer additional qualifications such as iTech, BTech, Cedesco. All of these are internationally recognised, so you can use these to travel all around the world if you wish to afterwards. All these courses are a route to further or higher education and also into employment. The national average for PLC students progressing on, about 50% will use their course to progress into higher education, and 30% will use it to progress into employment. They're called PLC courses, which stands for Post Leaving Cert. So the entry requirements tend to be a Leaving Cert or Leaving Cert Applied. But despite the name, they are open to other people. So we would have a lot of mature students and non-school leavers who would come to us, students who haven't done any school completion exams. So it's open for all different types of people. Doing a PLC course prior to going to third level, it can be very similar to the first year of your degree course. So it can give you a really good foundation before moving into third level. And I'll be talking a lot about that today and the benefits of that. And there's a really wide range of courses. I mean, there's really just something for everyone. Here at Cavan Institute, we have over 80 different courses on offer. Everything from childcare, engineering, computers, social care, nursing, chefing. Like, there really is something for everyone. So it's really worth having a look to see if you can find something that you might be interested in. So what exactly is a post-Leaving Cert course? So as the name suggests, a lot of students do them after their Leaving Cert, but also open to other people. All of the courses are QQI level 5 and level 6. And to compare that with the Leaving Cert, a level 5 is comparable to an honours Leaving Cert paper. All the courses tend to be a combination of practical work, academic work, and work experience. All courses of work experience will lead to at least a minimum 2-week block, which is a great opportunity for students to experience what it's going to be like working in that particular industry before they progress on with their education in that area. Most courses will consist of 8 to 10 modules, and it's just a really good stepping stone between second and third level education. The study that was done back in 2014 showed that students who completed a PLC course before going into university had less transitional issues than those who went straight into higher education, as there was little difference in terms of the structure of the course. And this really boils back down to the fact that the Leaving Cert curriculum does not prepare students for third level. And that's no disrespect towards the schools or anything, it's just not built into the curriculum. So students going into third level really struggle with the independent learning that's required of them. So the teaching style in school is very much spoon feeding, and when you go into university, you're expected to be an independent, self-motivated learner. But that's a big jump. That's a massive change from when you're in school, and if you're not in first class, a text has been sent home to your parents to say, where are you? And then you go into third level and you're in a lecture hall with 300-400 other people. You'd never even speak to your lecturer. No one's ringing home to check and see if you're in college, see if you're handing up your work. So you have to be very independent, you have to be self-motivated. And this is where the PLC is going to help. So doing the PLC course will allow you to try out a particular course area before committing to a 3 or 4 year degree. For anyone who's here is in school, maybe you're having this conversation with your guidance counsellor, they'll have highlighted the expense of dropping out of college. If you complete first year of a degree programme, decide you don't like it and want to change to something different the following year, you're going to be eligible to pay full fees, full academic fees. That's the €3,000 student contribution fee and the academic fees, which can be anywhere between 3 and 7 or 8,000 euros, depending on the college and the course. If you've got a grant for that first time that you went to college, you won't be eligible to get the grant the second time. And then you've got another year of accommodation, travel, and all the other expenses that go with being in college. So that expense, that's massive. That's a huge expense. And a lot of families simply cannot afford that. So like, I've worked with students who've dropped out after first year and they just can't afford to go back. So if you can take a year out and do something similar to what you're hoping to do in college, give it a try for a year, you have a much better chance of staying the course with that particular college course, because you know exactly what you're letting yourself in for. So in the long run, you're really going to save yourself some money. While doing your PLC course, you'll learn how to write academic assignments, another really, really important part of third level education. We'll teach you how to research, how to reference assignments. This is all stuff that you need to know, but it's not taught in second level. A lot of our students would say that once they get into third level, and that a first assignment is handed out, all the other students who are coming from Leaving Cert start panicking. They're like, oh my God, how do I write it? How do I write an academic essay? I don't know how to do that. How do I find books in the library? How do I research? How do I reference? They're not familiar. So they're spending a lot of time worrying and panicking about how to do how to write the essay. Whereas the students who have come from PLC, they understand all of that. All they need to worry about is the actual content of the essay, and they're able to just get stuck into it and get on with it. So they tend to do much better, and they actually end up, a lot of them will come back to us and say that they end up helping a lot of the other students, showing them how to look up books in the library and things like that. So it's just makes that transition a lot easier for them. The PLC then, as I said, will help them become independent learners, and it'll teach you how to manage your own workload. So you might be timetabled from 9 to 12 and then, not back in until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You're going to make the decisions. Do I go home? Do I go to the library? Do I go into town with the gang and go shopping, have a few drinks maybe, not come back for my class? You make these mistakes and you learn what you need to do, how to be an independent student and how to be self-motivated. And you can do that in a small college, local college, small classes, 20, 25 students. You're on first name basis with your tutors, and you have that supportive environment. So, while I said in school, if you're missing first class, there's a text going home. But in a PLC, if you're missing 3 or 4 days, someone might say, oh, haven't seen Tommy there in a while. We give him a ring and see what's going on. So it's a halfway mark between school and third level. The support is there, but the way I describe it sometimes is like in school, you're very much holding your hand. PLC, they walk alongside you. They're there beside you, giving you the encouragement, giving you the motivation, giving you the guidance, teaching you the skills that you need. And then once you get into third level, you're ready to go off on your own. You're not relying on anyone else to help you because you've learned those skills yourself. As I mentioned before, the work experience, like that's amazing. Having that chance to go out, like if you're thinking about doing nursing or occupational therapy or computer networking, it's hard to know, are you really going to enjoy that work? So doing the work experience and going out and actually experiencing that, getting to see hands-on whether this is something that you're going to enjoy, that's really good to help you make the right decision for your degree afterwards. And an interesting statistic, and I think this is something that needs to be out there, more people need to hear this. For Leaving Cert students progressing into third level, the dropout rate is anywhere between 9 and 45%, depending on the course. 45% is of some of the computer programming courses. Students aren't aware of the level of maths involved in it. 9% is for education. Average in between probably about 18-20% for the average of all courses. That's a lot. That's a lot of students, making a difficult decision, impacting on their life, making a difficult decision for their family, financially. How are they all going to manage with this? The dropout rate for a PLC student going into college in first year is 0%. 0%, not even 1%, because it's that few people, because they know what they're doing. They've studied something similar. They've got a feel for the topic. They feel comfortable with it. They're enjoying it. They figure out all the academic side of it, and they go in and they're ready for it. They're like, bring it on. First year, let's have you. And they absolutely love it, and they know what they're doing. 0% dropout in first year. Now, as time goes on, second, third, and fourth year, it does increase a little bit, but that's where life comes in. Life throws curveballs and maybe they're not able to continue. But in first year, that crucial year, how you succeed through first year sets the tone for the rest of your college experience. 0% of PLC students are dropping out. So it's really worthwhile considering this as an option for all students. So if you're thinking, right, this is all good, she's selling it, I like the idea of doing the PLC course, what do I do? How do I use that to get on into higher education? And I suppose we would have a mix of students come to us. One of our main cohorts would be students who just don't know what they want to do. They're not sure. They're maybe, thinking of a couple of different options. They're not sure. So they'll come and do something in one of the areas that they're interested in, try it out for a year, and they'll either figure out that they love it or they don't love it. Either is good. It's good to, eliminating things as an option is also good. So they'll come and do a year and then they'll progress on into third level. The second cohort we have are students who, and this cohort is increasing every year, it's getting bigger, is students who know what they want to do and they've taken up their place, or they've been offered a place and they're deferring it for a year and they're coming to do the PLC for those reasons that I've just outlined, to make that transition into third level a little bit easier. So for the students who want to progress on using the qualifications, so students, the third cohort of students we have then are students who maybe don't know what they want to do, or do know what they want to do, but didn't get the results that they were hoping for in their Leaving Cert. And they're coming then and they want to use the PLC course as a stepping stone to get into third level. And this is where this higher education link scheme comes into play. So this is a particular scheme that's been set up. It's an operation since, it's a good while anyway, about 20 years, I'd say it's in operation, but it just allows students the opportunity to progress into higher education through the CAO. So same as you're applying as a Leaving Cert student, when you're applying through QQI, you fill out a CAO application, and you're just taking a separate box saying that you're applying as a QQI student. You get your level 5 or your level 6 qualification, and then you can apply. So colleges will reserve a certain number of places on most of their courses for QQI students. And we'll be chatting a little bit about that. Some courses are very open, some colleges are very open to QQI, and some of them are quite restricted to only a small number of places. But it all works through the higher education link scheme. So just to give you a bit of a visual on this and how it works. So you do your Leaving Cert applied, you've gone to you dropped out of school, you're a mature student, whatever the situation may be. You apply to your local PLC course, and you come in, you do your course, you do a level 5, you apply to the CAO then, and you say, right, well, I've done a level 5 now in childcare, really enjoyed that, I'd like to go on. I'm going to go to TU Dublin at Grange Gorman, I'm going to do childcare, early childhood care and education. You apply to the CAO, you get accepted onto a level 7 or a level 8 degree, you have your degree behind you. Once you have your degree, all the postgraduate options are open to you. You can go on and do a master's, you can do a doctorate. There's numerous stories out there of people who have done their doctorate qualifications who started off doing a PLC course, maybe had never even finished school or done LCA and come in through PLC, onto college and done their postgraduate. There's no barriers. Once you have this qualification behind you, you can progress anywhere you want with it. There's literally no barriers to your education. And as I said, a lot of our students, 50% of our students, or nationally 50% of students, are going on into further higher education. So that's pretty much how it would work. Now, so some courses will have a set number of places. So things like nursing, veterinary nursing, very competitive courses, or courses that have a lot of interest in them, will reserve a certain number of places. So maybe DKIT and their general nursing course, they might have 3 or 4 places for QQI students. So that can be a little bit restrictive. You said, oh, that might be a little bit more difficult to get into. Other courses tends to be the ITs. For some of the courses, will accept any level 5, any QQI level 5. And if you look in the CAO website, there's actually 800 different courses that will accept any QQI level 5. So you can come and do a level 5 in animal care and then go off and do a degree in engineering or business studies or social care. They don't necessarily have to be connected. There is some connections or some courses that are linked, but there's loads of opportunities there that don't have to have a specific link with them either. The other thing you can do with your qualification is convert it into Leaving Cert points. And this is brilliant. And this is particularly good for students who are considering repeating their Leaving Cert because they didn't get enough points. So if you come in and you get your 8 distinctions, which is very achievable, by the way, because we work with a lot of continuous assessment, and I'll be talking about that in a moment. If you come in and get 8 distinctions, you can get 390 points. Now, if you've done your Leaving Cert and you got 230 points, 250 points, but the course you're looking for is looking for 280, 290, maybe 300, and you're thinking, right, I'll go back now and I'll repeat the Leaving Cert. That's a big ask. To come from 250 up to 280, you're looking at coming up a full grade in 3 subjects. Like, that's going to be difficult. That's going to require a lot of work and a lot of effort. In that situation, you might be better thinking, well, maybe I'll be better looking at a PLC and see, can I get into the course via the PLC route, and come in and do the course. Through the PLC course, they might only say, oh, you just want maybe, a pass or 1 distinction or 2 merits for a lot of the degrees is all the ITs will look for. So it can be, it can definitely be worthwhile considering a PLC as opposed to repeating the Leaving Cert if that's something that is on your mind maybe at some point. All of our courses have continuous assessment, and this is one of the reasons why I love it so much. Every year, and it breaks my heart, every year I have students come into me in September and the Leaving Cert hasn't gone to plan. They didn't pass everything they hoped to pass, didn't get as many points as they'd hoped to get. And they're devastated. They feel you know, they've just lost so much confidence in themselves and their academic ability. And like, I've had students sit in front of me and say, sure, I'm stupid, didn't I fail the Leaving Cert? And I'm like, you're not. Just that style of learning just didn't suit you. The Leaving Cert doesn't suit a lot of students. It's difficult, it's arduous. You have to sit down and recall all this information, you know, the first 2 weeks in June. That's difficult for any student to do, and it just doesn't suit a lot of them. Continuous assessment allows you to work at a steady pace throughout the year. Come to your classes, engage in the activities, do your assignments, maybe one at Christmas, another one at Easter, another one in May, maybe an exam in May, but you're working all the time, you're building up percentages to your final grade. You're not expected to sit down and do this one big exam or 9 or 7 or 8 exams in the space of a week and a half. There's never an expectation like that with the QQI courses. You'll have written assignments, there'll be reports, there'll be oral presentations, there'll be skills demonstration. If you're doing some of the practical courses like hairdressing or chefing, you go and you do the skills, you show what you're able to do and you get marked on that. You build up portfolios as evidence of your work, you get marks for all of that. So it's much easier for students to come in and do really, really well. And those students that are sitting devastated in my office in September, I'm meeting them in May and June when they're, you know, coming to the end of the year and they're like, oh, I'm on course to get 6 distinctions, and they're so happy and their confidence is just soaring in them that they actually have this academic ability. And next thing they're talking about going to college and going off to do a degree, where just 9 months before that they felt so inferior to their peers. So it's powerful how much of an impact it can have in someone's life to have these successes to achieve as they're working throughout the year. So the grading system is a little bit different from school as well. So we go with distinction, merit and pass, and a distinction 80% and upwards, which is comparable with the Leaving Cert. You know, to get your H1, to get the top grade in Leaving Cert, you're looking at 90 plus. So the distinction is 80 plus, so it's a little bit easier to get the top grades in your QQI course, which is what you'll need then for progressing on with your studies. So a lot of students find that they can do really, really well with the continuous assessment. So there's a lot of opportunities in Ireland, but there's actually a lot of opportunities outside of Ireland as well that I think is worth considering. And in Cavan Institute, we've really built up our School of Healthcare and Sports Therapies. Has got really, really big over the last few years. We have a lot of students coming to us to do nursing, midwifery, occupational therapy, physiotherapy, and they'll do a year or two with ourselves and then go over to the UK. The colleges in the UK are so openly accepting of all of these qualifications. They love to see the Irish students, the QQI students coming over and interviewing for these courses because they've done something. They've done the PLC for a year. So like our OT assistants, for example, go over to do interviews. They understand the terminology, they understand the language, they are able to talk about theories that's used in occupational therapy. So the colleges, when they're interviewing the students coming from PLC, are, you know, they're blown away with the level of knowledge that they've got compared to, you know, the normal A-level students or the Leaving Cert students who's going over. So students coming from PLC will do really, really well at interviews in the UK and in Europe because they have that extra knowledge compared to other students. So the UK is a really good option. Traditionally, you know, we would have had a lot of students going to Scotland, England, Wales, you know, they go to them all. And, you know, really easy progression. They come into Cavan or any of the PLC colleges, you know, they'll come in, they'll get to know a few people in their class, they'll apply to different colleges, they move over together, they love it, they have a great old time. Europe is another area that's getting quite popular, and it's not, I suppose, as common or not as known, but definitely in the last couple of years, it's getting a lot more popular. And if you look on the UCAS website, you'll see there's over 1,200 courses being delivered across Europe through English. There's no language requirement for them. You can just apply and go over. Your classes will be in English. Everyone in your class will be an English speaker. Mightn't be a native English speaker, but they'll have a competent level of English to be able to study through English. So you'll have no problem with language. You know, if you decide not to learn, if you'll go to Germany and decide not to learn the language, you'll still be able to manage. And most people do try and attempt to learn the language, but there is a lot of opportunities there. And we've had a lot of students from our own college going over to do physiotherapy in Europe. In Holland in particular, it's quite popular with Irish students. Just, I think Holland seems to work well. It's, you know, a similar kind of lifestyle to the Irish, the kind of similar sense of humor to the Irish, which is important for us. We like to meet people that we can have a bit of crack with. And the cost of living is relatively good, relatively cheap, and the fees are, you know, around 3,000, same as what they are here in Ireland. So Holland is very, very popular, but there is obviously other options there, and you can have a look on Unicast for all of those. And again, they love to see the QQI students coming because they just have that little bit of extra knowledge. So as I said, very, very popular for the competitive or the high point healthcare courses. So we would have a lot going, nursing, OT, physio, and radiography. We've quite a few students who would do our science and labs course, and then they can progress over to the UK to study radiography. Now there is obviously, you know, all of these situations are very individual, and, you know, someone might have something from their leaving cert that they can use, and it's all done on a case-by-case basis. But the opportunities are there, and if it's something that you're interested in, you know, get in touch with ourselves or talk to your guidance counsellors within your own schools or within your own ETBs, and they'll be able to advise you on what exactly you would need yourself to be able to progress on for those. So that's a lot of information about PLC course. So now you're thinking, right, yeah, this all sounds good. Where do I go? How do I find them? So the best starting point really is your local further education college. They're run through your ETB. So if you don't know where it is, get onto your local ETB website, and they should have a list of them all there. And just go onto their website, have a look at their courses, see what they've got on offer. A lot of them now, like, we're all having our open days, virtual open days, no more than this event, and have to do things online. But there is, they're doing live webinars, they're having like virtual open days where you can come in like tonight and ask questions. So have a look at your local, what's going on in your own locality, and see what information you can find. Fetch Courses is another website that's like a national database. So you can go on in there and you can search through a different couple of ways. You can search by location, where you are, what county you're in, and it'll show you all the courses that's available there. Or you can pick a particular subject area that you're interested in, and it'll show you all the courses related to that all over Ireland. And some of them will be full-time, part-time, evening, online, all that kind of thing. So you need to just kind of go through it and make sure you're picking one that is suited for you. Careers Portal is another great website. It's very, very comprehensive. It's got a lot of different information on it, and they have a PLC course search on that as well that you can go in and access and use that to look at what's available all around the country for you. So if you have decided, yeah, I'm going to go down this road now, and you're thinking, how do I research what I want to do, which is the right course? There's two ways of going about this, and I'm going to try and not go into too much detail on this, but if you have a particular course in mind, so if you're saying, right, well, I want to do business studies in DCU, that's my goal, that's my end goal, that's where I want to end up. You can start going on the CEO website, we can work backwards. Or the other way you can do it is decide on the PLC course that you want to do. Say, right, well, I'm going to go to Cavan Institute, I'm going to do animal care in Cavan Institute. We can look at that and see what options will be open to you from doing that course. They're kind of like the two main ways of looking at it. And I'm going to talk briefly on those. I'm going to try not to dwell too much on it. So the first option, you have your degree, you know where you want to go, what you want to do. My advice to you on that is go into Google, type in CAO FETAC or CAO QQI, and that'll bring up this particular page here that you see on the screen. And in here, if you have your particular degree, you're saying, yeah, DC 101, whatever it is, you can type it into the course code box, click go, and it's going to bring up the information and tell you exactly what PLC course you can do to gain entry into that particular course. And I'm going to show you that in a moment. The second way you can search is by institution. So that's by college. So you might say, right, well, I live right next to UCD, so I'd really like to go to UCD if at all possible. You can just go in there, click UCD. It'll bring up the full list of courses in UCD that will accept QQI students, and you can just go down through it and see if there's anything there that you're interested in. And you can do that for all the different institutes across the country. So when you do the search, this is the screen you're going to get, this grey text box that you can see. And there's a couple of things here, the course code, the name of the course, 7 or 8, that's the level of the course, so level 7 or level 8. But what you need to focus on is these last 3 boxes. So you'll see here it says any. That means they will accept any level 5 qualification. So if you want to do bioscience in level 7, bioscience in DKIT, any level 5 in beauty therapy, level 5 in music performance, no problem. Once you can show you can study at that level and complete a level 5 qualification, they're going to look for 1 distinction or 2 merits. Once you show you can study at that level, even if it's an unrelated topic, they're happy to take you in. For veterinary nursing, you'll see they have a particular course code there. So if you want to do veterinary nursing in DKIT, you have to do a PLC in animal care. That's the only course that they will accept to get onto that particular course. You'll also see next to it that they're looking for distinctions, and they've got more codes in there. That means they want you to have particular modules. You have to get distinctions in those particular subjects that you're studying as part of your PLC course. So that's important information to have. And the earlier you can get that information, the better. You don't want to, fill out your CEO form in February and then, put all this on and say, oh, well, it takes the animal care, so I'll apply for that. And then maybe log in maybe March or April time and say, oh, right, I need 2 distinctions in these 2 particular modules, but maybe you haven't been trying very hard or putting in enough effort in those particular subjects. And now it's gone too late. You're not going to be able to get your distinction, because remember, it's continuous assessment. You have to be working throughout the year. So it's really important to have that information as early as possible to give yourself the best chance to get the distinctions in the particular subjects that you need. Beyond that, then, in the last box, you will see a couple of different codes, and I have them explained at the top what they might mean. So the SED means standard applicant. You're in amongst everyone. QQI, Leaving Cert, you're all in the one pot. You're all open to getting places, and that's good. You have a good chance of getting a place in a course when it has that STD beside it. The CMB beside it means you can do your qualification combined. You don't have to do it all in 1 year. You can, do 4 modules 1 year, 4 modules the next year, and they'll accept that as a full award. You'll see for the veterinary nursing course, that has QTA beside it. That means that there's a quota. There's a defined number of places available for QQI students. And on this particular course, as you'll see there's 4 places for QQI students. That's 4 places. You could have people from all over Ireland applying for those 4 places. So it does tend to be competitive. Not all colleges will list the exact number of places they have available on the CEO website. They might just say QTA and not give a number. And in that instance, you might need to contact the college to see what the number is. In some situations, you might see in this last column as well, they might say 1, and that means that you have to have completed your qualification in 1 sitting. So you have to do all 8 modules in 1 year, which most students would do anyway. But sometimes, life gets in the way of things, and something might come up, you become unwell or something, and you're not able to do the full year. You might need to split it over 2 years. So it's just important to remember that. And then option 2 is where you take your PLC course. And you go into Careers portal, and you can just type in the code here or the search box on the left. You find the code, and you find your code, put it in, and then it'll show you all the different courses that you're eligible to apply for. So that's really it. That's me in a nutshell. Just to summarize the main points: continuous assessment, which allows students to do really, really well. Wide range of courses, excellent progression, amazing progression opportunities for everyone. PLC, very strong student-centered cultures, really good connection with your tutors, that one-to-one connection with them. You can ask them questions, get a lot of help from them. The work experience is in there. If you do decide to go down the employment route, there's really high rates of graduate employment, really good for that bridging year. Either if you're young, if you're 17 or 18 doing a Leaving Cert listening to this, no panic. The world of work, it's not that great. It's grand, but there's a lot of bills and a lot of responsibilities. So take an extra year. You owe it to yourself to make sure you're going down the right path and taking the right journey for yourself. And all of that combined is going to lead to your success. So I hope you find that helpful, and I'd love to take some questions if anyone has anything that they'd like to ask. Maybe you don't feel comfortable asking them here tonight in the chat box. My email address is there at the bottom, so feel free to give me an email, and I'll certainly do my best to help in whatever way I can. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Orla. Thank you very much for that. It's very interesting, and I think your presentation has given a great insight for people who wanted to know more information about that. And don't forget, all of these webinars will be archived on our website, Career Path Expo, over the next day or two. Also be available on the social, on YouTube, Twitter, Insta, all of those different things. So thank you very much, Orla.
That's lovely. Thank you. Take care again.
So we're into the final half an hour of Career Path Expo for this evening. And don't forget, we are here all day today. It's the first ever Career Path Expo. We've 2 full days of talks and webinars about how you can progress over the next few months through the Leaving Cert into your college education and into your career. And we also have more than 30 of the leading universities and colleges in Ireland, and also some of the leading universities in the UK taking part in our